Anyway, hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is African Tea Travels and I am back in Kenya. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be back in Kenya. Even though I miss traveling already, I miss Zambia. I think Zambia is the country I spent the most time. If I'm looking around, don't worry, this is my environment right now. It's very calm, so in case anything is walking, I feel like I need to check. Nice. So I just want to come here today and talk about my travels with you. There's no sun, by the way. There's no sun. Nairobi is gloomy. Those who are in Nairobi know. The cloud is heavy right now. So I'm trying to use my torch here, my phone torch, to brighten the video. I was just going to Tanzania for 2 weeks, and the plan was to go to Dar es Salaam direct. I was not even planning to visit Kilimanjaro. I was not planning to do the hot springs, Chemka hot springs. But when I arrived in Tanzania, first of all, I went to Mwanza, very beautiful city in Tanzania, with the landscape and everything was very lovely. Then I went to Arusha first, from Mwanza to Arusha. And in Arusha, there's this tribe called the Hadza people. They are known worldwide. You know, people go there to visit them from every part of the world. I was there for a week. Then I went to Moshi town. Moshi town is the town that hosts Mount Kilimanjaro. And I tempted to get to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Yeah, so all this was not planned at all. So after Kilimanjaro, I went straight to Dar es Salaam. Tanzania, I stayed for a month. Then climbing Kilimanjaro costed me around 120,000 Tanzanian shillings. That is around 6,000 Kenyan shillings. I'll put it on the screen with dollars so that my other people can understand. You know, when you're exploring, you have to pay the guide, and it's different from traveling. When you're traveling, you just go from town to town, town to town. You just get accommodation and food, and maybe Uber or Bolt sometimes, but it's not as costly as exploring. So from Dar es Salaam, I mean in Tanzania, accommodation can go from 20,000 Tanzanian money. I'll put it on the screen in dollars, to 30,000. With that, a traveler on a budget can get a very comfortable place to sleep at, especially if you're a lady. But if you know people around who know better places at a cheaper price, you can get as less as 15,000 Tanzanian money. You can still get a very nice place. Food in Tanzania, if you have 3,000 Tanzanian money to 7,000 Tanzanian money, you can get some good meal, like some delicious meal. And after a week in Dar es Salaam, instead of coming back home, I almost went to the coastal Kenya because it's close. I decided to take the risk and go to Zambia. I was not so sure. Because I didn't even have a visa card, and when you're traveling to these other countries, you need a visa card with you. And the reason why I risked Tanzania without visa card is because they also have M-Pesa. M-Pesa is a mobile app, and this thing is in Tanzania as well. So that's why I was very comfortable in Tanzania, because I could withdraw money easily, you understand? So when I was getting into Zambia, Zambia is not in East Africa, so I wasn't very sure if I was going to make it when it comes to withdrawing money. I was even Googling when I was on the way. It was a big risk. It was a very big risk. But I made sure that when I was leaving Dar es Salaam, I withdraw enough cash. So if I arrived in Zambia, I just go to a bureau exchange and exchange it. And there's one thing when you're going from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka, you have to be really careful with the buses you're taking. There are buses that go straight from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka without stopping. You only stop at the border, or when you need food, or when people have to release themselves. But they'll always take you from Dar es Salaam to the Lusaka by one bus. So Tanzania has one of the biggest bus stations in East Africa, and this bus station has thousands and thousands of offices, thousands and thousands of buses. So there are, I think, 5 or maybe 10 big companies that will go across, or maybe 2. I was told all about 2. So you go there and say, I want classic that goes straight to Saka, and anybody will just take you. They'll be like, yeah, we have classic, this is our company. But then not knowing that they are brokers. So for me, I paid 150,000 Tanzanian shillings from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka because it was a broker. I could have saved 30,000 if I knew that these were not brokers, because the fare should be 120,000. But if it is a broker, they'll take your 30,000. They put you in any bus they think, because if you'll complain in the evening when they're giving you the bus and there's nothing you can do. Yeah, so transport fare from Dar es Salaam to Lusaka is 120,000 Tanzanian shillings. That is when I was there. It can go up or it can go down with time. Approximately, it should be $40, $35, $40, $50. I'll Google that. Yes, so when I arrived in Lusaka, I was hosted. I spent the most time in Zambia, but I really don't know much about the cost and prices in Zambia because I was hosted. Cooking from the house, sleeping in the house. That was easy. I want to thank my friend who hosted me in Zambia. May God bless you. That was a blessing. It's good to have friends like that. I saved a lot of money in Zambia. And I was like, even the money I changed in Dar es Salaam to spend in Zambia, I did not use it. I was like, I can change it to dollars and go to Zimbabwe. But my Zimbabwe decision going to Harare was also last minute because I only took, like, when I was entering Zambia, I told the immigration officer I'm just going for 2 weeks. Then I was so tired from the Tanzania activities that 2 weeks was just passed just like that. So the last 3 days, I was to decide if I was going back to Kenya or I want to arrive in Harare. So that is why the Harare video was not, some of my Zimbabwean friends were not happy. Let me say my Zimbabwean brothers and sisters were not happy with the way I recorded the Zimbabwe video. I'm starting to overthink again. Windy, let me use my phone as the microphone. So when I was supposed to leave Zambia the first 3 days, I just, I changed. I just decided to risk it and go to Harare, Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, I was informed that, okay, they use dollars. It's something that many people don't know. I knew that they use dollars, but I did not know that it can be on a higher level of using dollars. You understand? Like, what I mean is, Lusaka, Zambia to Harare costed me $20. I paid in dollars, like $20. So after paying that, we were told that the journey doesn't take long. We might arrive at 4 p.m. in Harare. So, and we were leaving at 8 in the morning. So 8 in the morning with my Zambian kwacha, I could not change it to dollars because there was no bureau that was opened. And I just went straight away to the bus and got the bus to Harare, hoping that we will arrive by 4, so that I ran to the bureau. Most of them close at 5. Then I changed my money and book a hotel. That was not the case. So this is what happened. We arrived in Harare at 11 in the night, 11 p.m. and I didn't have any dollars. Yeah, so I took a taxi driver. Luckily, God blessed me with a very nice taxi driver who took me to the hotel. you know. Hopefully we tried sending money on online payment, it didn't work, and my taxi driver knew a hotel owner who helped. Actually, he took me to the hotel and told me, now this is the hotel where you can sleep, just leave your passport on the counter. You know, with your passport, by there you can pay your bills with your passport. Because without that passport, there's nowhere you're going. You cannot leave the country. I was like, okay, please take the passport. I'm very tired. I need to rest. And the hotel was $40. So in my head, this $40, if I do calculations in my country, that was just too much in my head. Because remember, I only came from Tanzania. In Tanzania, the amount we pay is different from, is almost similar with what we pay in Kenya, right? Then in Lusaka, Zambia, I did not pay anything. I was hosted. We were cooking from home. Then, now in Zimbabwe, then the reality hits. $40 per night for a hotel. The hotel was pretty nice. I think I spent almost $200 in Zimbabwe. That's for 2 days. When I arrived in Zimbabwe that night, the taxi driver took $20 from me. The same amount I paid from Lusaka, from another country to Harare, the taxi driver asked for the same amount for a ride from the bus station to the hotel. I understood him, kinda, because he really helped even with the getting this hotel so that I can spend a night without paying. So actually the first $20 was not a problem. That is $60 already in one night. The following morning, I need him again to take me around the city. The prices are high. For somebody like me who is traveling on a budget, it was a lot for me. I went around the town. I went to places where the rich people hide in Zimbabwe. I saw the land of the former president, the late former president Robert Mugabe. I was in these areas. It was very nice. But I was running out of money, but I wasn't scared enough to risk to Botswana. So I was just like, I've arrived in Harare. There's no way I'm missing South Africa. Because when you arrive in Zimbabwe, it's so beautiful. The infrastructure is beautiful. The weather is different from what we have here. You can see this one is more green and dark, but there's like a golden, type of weather. So I was like, I really wish to see South Africa, and this is the chance I have. So I'm going to risk it. I took a bus that was $50 to Botswana, Gaborone, Botswana. It was not the longest journey compared to other journeys that I've been to. So this one was a little bit short, and I arrived, and luckily in Botswana there was a supporter who directed me to a place to book for the nights or 2. Normally I was just wishing to be there for 2 days in every city. Apart from Lusaka, Zambia, where I was hosted, I could stay as long as I could. But when I was now paying my stuff, I could just be there for 2 nights. That was the wish. Just the same way I did in Zimbabwe. Yeah. So I got in Botswana. I was sick. Very, very sick. Not too much, but the cold was really sick. I think that's why the cold was really strong. I think that's why I'm not getting it right now, because it's the season here in Kenya. Mine was very, very strong. So I stayed there for 4 days. I didn't do much. I actually went to town and recorded a street video that also I deleted by accident when I was uploading it. It was only 6 minutes remaining. I thought it was up already. But then if you delete a video before it goes up 100%, then you lose it all. That was a bad luck in Botswana. And I was told South Africa is only 2 hours. South Africa is only 2 hours away, 4 hours away. Maybe the border stop might take time, but it did not take time actually. So I paid around $40 for my trip from Gaborone to Johannesburg. So these vehicles, it depends. You can get a cheaper vehicle at $20, $30, the small ones. But for me, because it was my first time crossing these borders, I wanted vehicles that are more reliable. Like they tell you do this, that. So I rather pay for the big bus, the big companies that will help, and they're trusted at the border, so that you don't have problems. You understand? So this is what I was doing. I paid for that. Sorry. I paid for that, and I entered Johannesburg. I mean South Africa. It was the best. I think I teared up. I was like, that is possible. That was possible. And now you're going to this city that everybody says it is dangerous. Or don't go there. Don't walk alone. We were there. We just had a security people around us. There's those things. There's this and that. There's this and that. And with my courage, with my guts, I was just like, I have to go. Luckily, Fan texted me, some mama, we talked, and she was willing to host me in Johannesburg, which made my days in Johannesburg easier. I'm so grateful for you, mama. Very, very grateful. May God bless you for that. Johannesburg was as expected. Beautiful. The buildings. I love vintage buildings, just the same as the ones I saw in Harare. Like the infrastructure and how they look, the gold, the vintage type of buildings. I saw some in Nairobi and I was like, wow, these buildings are in Nairobi, but they are so hidden you cannot notice. Only if you love them like I do, you can notice. So that is what happened in Johannesburg. Johannesburg was beautiful. The city is just like what we see in the movies. And I couldn't say much about Johannesburg because I was hosted. But that was my first time experiencing winter, -3 degrees. That was cold, amazing, but cold. Normally I say, I like cold weather, but that was cold. I don't know if I can survive it because I survived it, but you really have to be warm. And sleeping in the night is even better because now you're in a cold place. So yeah, I think I could not say much about Johannesburg. I risked walking in the streets. I walked on the streets of Johannesburg, and I didn't see anything that we see on news or anything that people talk about, like it's very risky, that, this and that. And I was just like, people talk like, Nairobi is dangerous. Nairobi this and that. Don't go to Africa, this and that. But then you come and get surprised. Same thing happened to me in Johannesburg. Johannesburg, I didn't see anything that could prove to me that it is what people say it is. I even walked in places on those streets where they repair cars, the ones considered to be the most dangerous and stuff. I did not see anything. And in my Johannesburg video, I used a title. With YouTube or content creation, you want to attract people's attention. So if I use the most dangerous city in Africa, I'm attracting people's attention. You understand? So if I don't use that, maybe there's like half of people who watched it might not even come to watch it. Somebody might come and say Nairobi is the most dangerous city in Africa. I might not agree, but there's dangerous things about Nairobi. Like if I was walking in Nairobi with my phone like this, the way I'm carrying it like this, in the next 15 minutes I wouldn't have it, because it's been known, like there are people who go to the city center to snatch people's phones. That is true. So whatever is happening in Johannesburg, maybe sometimes once in a while we see the news, and now people consider it the most dangerous city. Even if you Google on Google, it might come like the most dangerous or the most second dangerous city in Africa. But sometimes it's just what the internet is saying or what people believe, people who have not been there, But for me, I did not see anything. I did not witness anything. And I loved South Africa so much. In South Africa is where you will, as an African, you will hear the word black and white, so it was something strange for me as an East Africa. You understand why we are not mixed here in East Africa. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that shocked me in South Africa, but it was a way of just learning how life is, like generally the world. South Africa is the America of Africa. Very beautiful infrastructure, it's developed, and yeah, they have their problems as well. Any country have their problems. Yeah, so after 1 week in South Africa, I went to Cape Town. I was like, there's no way I'm not going to Cape Town. And that was the peak of my travels, actually. Not because it is Cape Town, but because it is the end of Africa. Like down there, I was like, yay. My map now shows that I was in Cape Town, and I have videos and pictures of Cape Town. So leaving Johannesburg, I had to go back to... After 1 week in Johannesburg, I have to go back to paying my bills again, paying for food, paying for the hotel. So from Johannesburg to Cape Town, they took 1,200 rands. That is the big company, the big bus. And some people can pay less. You can pay 900. Some people can go with 700. Yeah, so I arrived in Cape Town. It was really, really amazing. It was like I was in another world. Cape Town is very beautiful. And I was so happy and grateful to have arrived in Cape Town, honestly. Like, I think I arrived in Cape Town, paid for the hotel, and I was finished. Like, I just wanted to rest, even though it was not expensive, because in Gaborone, I paid for the hotel $35. It could go to 38. Sometimes it depends with the day. So it could go to $38, $35. Makio, I paid $40 in Zimbabwe. So I was already welcomed to this type of, amounts, Even though I complained in my Zimbabwe video, it was a way to open. It was just an opening way. Like, this is the first time I'm starting. Now this is the real world. This is how we are traveling, It's even cheaper. Some people pay up to $300 for a night, $250. But if you're on a budget, a beginner, you have to... The only problem is I was comparing this with my country's amounts. Yeah, that was the problem. So, yeah. Cape Town, I got to Cape Town and I Googled Mojo Hotel. Mojo Hotel, they charged me like 680. It's about 680 to 700 rands. That was around 38 also, $40 approximately for this hotel. And I paid it for a week. Because I think me arriving in Cape Town, I was just like, I've accomplished my dream. I could have stayed in Cape Town for 2 days, see the town, then head to Lesotho and head to Eswatini. But because I was not planning my trip well, I could have gotten from Johannesburg to Eswatini, to Lesotho, then to Cape Town, then back up to Namibia. That would have worked. But when I arrived in Cape Town, I was confused now. Should I go back via Lesotho, Eswatini, then back to Johannesburg and go? Or should I leave 2 countries and go back to Namibia? So I just decided, let me just go back to Namibia, because Namibia was also one of my favorite countries. I just wanted to see it, like it was a desert. How are these people living in a desert? And it was really amazing. One of the beautiful, most clean cities I've seen, created in a crater. And people are so nice. People are so lovely. Yeah, like people are really nice out here. People are really, really nice. All that I just said without checking my notebook. Did I forget anything? I think relationship with people are friendly. Most of the time when I was asking for the directions, I could do it to a Bolt. I could ask a Bolt driver, and normally I just took Bolt for the first day when I'm there, because I'm very fresh. And the second day, when I'm using Bolt this first day, I check around what other people are using, so that I use that to make work easy for me. That one also helped me save some little cash on Bolt, because you could pay way less. Like in Cape Town, if you use a Bolt from Mojo Hotel to the city, could be 70 rands, but if you use the normal city vehicles, it's only 14 rands. That's way less. So my plan while traveling in these countries was to use Bolt the first day, check around, then the next day I use what other people are using. I ask the people at the hotel, where can I find this, where can I find this, and that and this. Just walk on the streets. It even helped me so much walking on Cape Town streets, because I was just walking around. People walking around. Why would I use Bolt if people are walking around? Yeah. Same to Johannesburg. The first time, actually in Johannesburg, I didn't even use Bolt because my host took me fast. Then the second time I was going to the city alone. I just got into a vehicle, the town service, and arrived, and you just use one building. There's always one building in the city that you look at and you find your way down here. When you see that building, you go and find your way back home. So that's what I did, and it really saved a lot of money for me. That's why as a girl I could pay for places like Mojo. Mojo Hotel is very safe. It's very safe, and it was a nice room, very clean, and I'm so grateful for that. Always talk to people. People are always excited when they hear your accent is different from them. They'll be like, so which country are you from? First, they'll guess with your looks. Most people guessed I was from Zimbabwe or Zambia, especially in South Africa. But when you say now, this is my country, they start asking you questions about the politics, about sports, or this and that. So that's how you just create, friends and conversations just like that. If I look behind me, I'm imagining there's no crocodile here though, but like my overthinking head is thinking something might come out of the river. Of course, the accent will always sell you. So other Africans are excited if they hear that your accent is different. They want to know more about your country. They want to know how is things there, blah, blah, blah. And that's how you create friends in these countries, right? Then most of the time, of course, I used Google Maps. Yeah, I use Google Maps, and that's how I was interacting with people. And yeah, there's a few bad days that I had during my travel. One of those days was in Tanzania when the internet went down. Imagine getting used to online banking. That's the only way you can access your money. And something happened in the ocean. These cables broke, and you cannot call, you cannot text on WhatsApp, and you're in another country. You don't have cash because you're used to mobile app. Thankfully, I had some currencies in dollars. I just took them to the bureau exchange, and it really saved me. It really saved me. And another one was when I was in Cape Town. When I was in Cape Town, because now I didn't have a card. I didn't have a Visa card to, withdraw money from the ATM. I was just using Western Union. And this day, Western Union, I used it, but they didn't send the code. There's this code they send that you go to the bank with to do what? To withdraw the money. So it kind of delayed so much. So it really gave me a lot of stress that day. But I got friends. Have you some friends who saved me with the MoneyGram, and I paid for a hotel and waited as I was contacting the customer care services to send me the code. So after 24 hours, the Western Union, I contacted my Safaricom in the country, in Kenya, and they sent me the codes, and I was able to withdraw the money. But it was some scary moment, because I was here with the Bolt driver. I've told him I'm going to the bank to withdraw the money. Then the codes were not sent. So if he was not a good driver, He was actually from Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. If he was not a good driver, I think I would have been in trouble. But I had to pay so much money because I was with him for more than 4 hours. So it really costed me another 1,000 rands. That's a lot of money. That's hotel for 4 days somewhere. So what else do I have here? Never travel without a visa card, even though Western Union is there to help, but never try. It's very risky. Yeah. Let me see, what else do I need to show you? Yeah, just like I said, Tanzania to Lusaka costed me 120,000. I'll put it in dollars on the screen. It should be 120, but it costed me 150 because of the brokers. The journey took me 48 hours because the broker bus, they don't go straight to Lusaka. They will exchange you in the next bus in Lusaka. So that bus doesn't leave immediately. You have to wait for another 8 or 9 or 12 hours for it to leave in the morning. So the journey was very long. And like I said, accommodation in Tanzania was maybe 20,000, 30,000 or less. Food, you can get food for 2,000 to 8,000. It depends with what food you want or where you're eating. Then in Tanzania, I used a lot of money because I was getting the guides. In Mount Kilimanjaro, I had to pay the guide. In Chemka Spring, I had to pay the guide. So exploring is different from traveling. Exploring is different from traveling. So if you're an explorer, you use more because you want to go to these mountains, you want to go to these places, rivers and everything. So you use more than somebody who is just traveling and paying accommodation, eating the food, walking around the city and going. Yeah. Zambia, I was hosted. Zimbabwe opened my ways to the world. $40 for hotel was a big shock, but I'm grateful for that because now I could manage in Botswana, I could manage in South Africa. If they tell me 35, I was like, oh, it's better, you know. Yeah, so that is it. Botswana, $35 for hotel. Food, I really don't remember, but it could take maybe 70 pula or less. You can get good food. You know, Botswana money is the biggest in Africa, by the way. It has higher quality even than rands. Yeah. Johannesburg, I was hosted, just like I said. It was very cold, very nice, lovely city, you know. Cape Town, the hotel was, let me say in rands. It was 680 rands, 700 rands. Yeah, I'll change that in dollars. Yep. Food in Cape Town, $2, $5. You can get some nice supermarket meal, but if you're paying in the hotels, in the big hotels, it could be higher. But the fact that I didn't have a Visa card, because most of these hotels they only take card, it really saved me from these expensive meals, but they were really nice meals. I could see them from a distance. But supermarket meal also just worked really well for me. I tried sushi, the things you only see in the movies. Yeah. So lessons learned, let me say maybe 1 or 2 lessons I learned from this, my South African unplanned trip. I think anyone can do anything. Don't ever think you can not do anything. Wow, the sun is coming out. I wonder how I look like in the sun. Let me see. Where is the sun? The sun is out. Oh, it feels even warm. Anyway, lesson learned from this trip is anyone can do anything. people will always see that you're quiet, you don't talk much, maybe you are laid back, you're not loud. You know, I think some people believe that loud people are the strongest people. But if you're quiet, I hope this sun now is not destroying my video. It's overshowing, it's overdoing. So I think people believe that if you're quiet and just, doesn't shout, you give yourself a lot of quiet times, you cannot do things like traveling alone. A few of people around me were shocked, but I just want to prove that anything is possible. Anyone can do anything if you put your mind in it. Africa is very safe. Nobody should be scared, so long as you have the money and you're not going to get stuck there. You know that you have a few friends who maybe can chip in and help if at all there's emergencies needed. Go for it. Like, don't be afraid. Anyone can do anything. I was so proud of myself. I was like, when I was in Amboseli and I was seeing Kilimanjaro on the other side of Tanzania, I was like, there's no way I can even reach there. And thankfully, the universe and God did not listen to me, because I just took off and went. That was possible. Crossing borders in Africa is the easiest thing ever. The only place that I might have been scared a little bit was Botswana, because they're kind of strict, just a little. They ask you where you're going to, who you're going to see. So if you have a few contacts in those countries, no problem at all. Botswana, they protect their country really well. Zambia, when I was entering Zambia, they were a little bit skeptical, so I also needed an invitation letter from a friend. Thankfully, I had a friend in Zambia who wrote it really quick and signed and sent. Yeah, so to make it easy for you in Zambia, have an invitation letter from a friend or a supporter if you're a traveler and you don't have family or friends there. Communicate with somebody for invitation. At least they want to know where you're going, who you're going to see, how are you going to survive, and all that. But it's not that difficult. Then, the more stamps you get, of course, the more easy it gets for you. Because I remember when I was entering Tanzania was a little difficult. I even paid $100. I can't wait to go and visit that officer and show him my passport and just tell him I'm going to Arusha for 2 weeks, so that he can also not judge. I think he didn't believe that I can go and travel in Tanzania. So he tried to charge me extra amounts so that he sees if I can provide. You understand? But I didn't know that I should not pay anything, and I just gave them the $100 in dollars currency. That's what they wanted. They were shocked that I even had it. Thank God. Then the more stamps you get, the more easy it gets to go to these countries. In Namibia, entry was easy because I already had the many stamps, and they saw that I was going and leaving. So they don't even question you when are you leaving, but they'll always ask like how long are you staying, so that they have it on record. Yeah. Even the person in front of me as we entered Namibia was a bigger person. It was difficult for him. There was a lot of questions, maybe because it was his first stamp, but for me, he just looked and stamped, and I was in, and I left anyway. Don't do mistakes, they will respect that. Yeah. What else do I have here? In case of anything, I'll just add it on audio. If you want to do something, just go for it. I'm now saving for my Asia trip, hopefully. But before Asia, I can still go to Nigeria, Ghana, and some other West African countries. Ethiopia is very close to us. Congo, countries that the world believe that are unsafe, like Congo. I can go there and prove that it's not every part of Congo. Congo is a very big country, so I'm just hopeful and saving for my next trip, because I used a lot of money on my first traveling because I wasn't planning well. If you plan well and know that you're going to stay 3 days in one country and move, could be easy. Yeah. So planning for other African countries and also Asia, and God will open ways. So thank you so much for joining, and enjoy the rest of the video. If at all I'm going to add anything, or I'm going to add audio to this. Bye. Adios. Okay, I'm trying to learn makeup. I've been living without makeup, just being simple. Da, da, da. Maybe that's why I'm still single. Maybe if I spice it up a little bit, I might. If I go to my girly era, I might. Nimemaliza. Ule mgeni amekuja. Nataka niende nimwone. Maybe pia naweza pata chance ya kufika Euro.
Ya kufika
Euro.